Good evening. It is Sunday night, and I am once again up while everyone else has gone to bed in the household. So I'm going to rely a little more heavily on my mic and keep my voice down as best as I can. But hello, my name is Daniel, and welcome to this channel. Um, I want to clarify something. The last video I did, I recorded last night, and it just occurred to me this evening that I totally forgot to include one book in my wrap up of my reading for the last 2 weeks, and that is One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. The reason I forgot about this is it wasn't on my TBR. I just was plucking away at it little by little. This is a collection of letters by the poet Elizabeth Bishop. This was read for the Steve Tiberius Donahue STD book club last year. I think we started in March. It's either March or May. It's one of the months, I think. And I just finished it now. So initially, when I got it from the library, and it was this big 700-page tome, and I was dealing with a lot of bursitis in the shoulder, so like holding it up was just problematic. So I got it for my Kindle, and I read it little by little and just then forgot about it. So I picked it up recently and just decided to plow through it. The nice thing about letter collections is you don't really have to keep reading if you don't want to. Like it's easy to. I mean, this was written over like 40 years. there's there's no real cartilage in between the letters. It's just enjoyable to read, get inside someone's head, who you might respect from her poetry. I liked it. I didn't love it. That's mainly because I didn't have a lot of context for these letters. Some of them were really fascinating. I especially really liked it when she talked about the things she was reading, and sometimes I would go online afterwards and see if like can we still get a hold of these things. In many cases, no, or at least they'll take some work to do. But it's fascinating to get a little time capsule back into like the 40s through the 1979. So it was well worth reading. I don't regret it at all, but totally slipped my mind. But this evening, I want to talk to you about my dangerous trip to the bookstore. I was feeling a little burnt out this morning, and just due to like scheduling stuff. And what I used to do when I felt this way on Sundays, which is often grocery day, is that I would go and drive to Kent, Ohio, which is home of Kent State University and the Ohio National Guard Troop G. Anyway, um, they have a really good bookshop there, and it's only 10 minutes out of my way to where I normally get groceries. The bookshop is called Last Exit Books. If you happen to be in the area, it's well worth checking out. It's like a coffee shop, and then you go deeper into the bowels of the building, and you get this wonderful bookshop. But I knew I was playing with fire because I am doing the 100 book challenge, where I'm trying to read 100 books that I already own before I read anything or before I purchase anything else. And I am only in like the very early double digits. I think I'm at 11 or 12. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll just put it here. But I've been taking my time with it. This is something we started November 6th, and I made the mistake of getting some library books along the way just because there were new releases I wanted to read. It's not a big deal. I haven't been feeling the crunch most of the time. I'm feeling it a little bit more. Like I don't really want to go junking to get my books now, but there are some specific volumes I really want to hunt down, and I'm trying to stay, my nose to the grindstone, and just keep reading the things I already own before I do anything like that. I did allow for myself to have one run Springer, one little cheat section. I built it into my challenge, but if I'm only at like 11 or 12 books, I don't want to just do that now. So, anyways, that's a long way of saying I knew I was playing with fire, and I got really close to using that one, you know, hall pass I gave myself. but I stood strong, and instead I kind of tweaked the rules. Like I'm allowing myself in the rules I made to buy comics, and so that's one of the main things I looked at there. There was nothing that really interested me, or if it did, like there was a Savage Sword magazine, which was like had Conan and other stuff in it. It was Dark Horse, I believe, but it was like in the middle, and the way they structure that magazine, it's like you get part 2 of this story, part 4 of this story, part whatever, and that's not how I want to read it. Like I'd get 2 pages of like 5 stories, so that didn't really appeal to me all that much. um, I don't know why they did it that way, but anyways, I went into the vintage science fiction section. um, Now, they have a lot of cool stuff like Daw, Yellow Spines, and whatnot. But another thing that they do is with all of their Star Trek books, they also have like a bunch of the old science fiction and fantasy magazines. And magazines aren't books. I don't know what the difference is really, other than maybe like the cover is made out of something that's more like wrapping paper. But I got magazines today that I want to just briefly go over and show you. Um, I got a sequential run of Galaxy Science Fiction magazine, and this is the May 1977 through August 1977. And I wasn't going to get these at first, but I saw Frank Herbert's name right here, and I'm like, ooh, he's written some good stuff that I really love. And so I opened it up, and I was at first really disappointed because I saw that his story was the where is it? It was the serial that they featured. So like you'd have to get multiple issues to get all the parts of the story. So I was really bummed, and then I realized, wait, this is part 1, and the 4 magazines that they had of Galaxy was the entire run of um, Frank Herbert's story, The Dosadi Experiment. Now, I know nothing about this short story, but I looked when I got home after I purchased them because these were only $1.50, which is like the cover price of these originally was $1 in 1977. So inflation of 50 cents, I can deal with that. They just practically give these away. So I went and cross-referenced with the only short story collection of Frank Herbert I have, which is the book of Frank Herbert, and the Dosadi Experiment, for whatever reason, did not make it into that book. Actually, I don't even know if it was published at the same time. That might be why. I don't really know how much short fiction Frank Herbert wrote. Oh, well, okay. This precedes this, so that makes sense. So in this book, which first of all has really cool front page there. Well, this part of the cover, really. I don't know what you call it when they print on the front cover on the opposite side, but it has this one serial in it, which is the Dosadi Experiment, and then they have a novelette, which is The Way of the Sword by Dennis Schmidt, which apparently continues the adventures of Jerome as he pits himself against the mindless ferocity of the bodiless Mushin. Herein, he becomes a seeker who has found his way. I don't know even what that means, but then there's short stories. Crash Site by Peter Ambrose. Marconi Matten Maxwell by Charles Sheffield. And The Chains of Freedom by Tom Purdom. And then they have some like special features and stuff and some showcases. But like the art that you get in these magazines is always really nice. And it varies in style quite a bit. There's some old dark god or something. That's what it looks like to me. Oh, there's a chair with legs. Literally. And some swords. Anyways, that's the first issue that I got. In June 1977, something I thought would be fun. Here's June 1977. I might read these in the months that they were published. I know that's something that Michael K. Vaughan did with some of his older science fiction magazines. It looked fun. Oh, here's an old chit-based board game that they're advertising. I really like those. The rules are usually nuts, but something nostalgic about them. So here we have in June 1977 in Galaxy magazine, we have Legacy by Charles Sheffield, which is a tale of interplanetary politics, shape-changing manslaughter, and a strange gift from the past. And we also have another novelette, A Meeting of Minds by Kevin O'Donnell Jr. While the lieutenant's cybernetic crew labored desperately to repair his ravaged brain from the last onslaught, the telepathic aliens, hideous beyond imagining, were on his trail, sniffing, sniffing. Then we have short stories, Help Not Wanted by Thomas Easton, and Who Murders, Who Dreams by Jeffrey Godden. And then part 2 of the Dosadi Experiment by Frank Herbert. And a few less featured nonfiction articles. That's June 1977, which I'll try to read in June. I think I want to do that. That sounds fun. Here is July 1977. We have this weird amphibious creature and what I assume are tadpoles, but unfortunately colored. So in July 1977, we have some more. Oh, just one novelette, and that is Variations in the Visible Spectra of Certain Cepheid Stars. The aliens among us are interested mainly in each other. It behooves us not to come in between them. That's generally good advice. The short stories we have is Take My Mate, Please by Andrew Ross. Skitch and the Kids. Dinsdale Dissents, by Charles Sheffield. Brother John's Day Out by William Rosner. And A Perfect Twilight by Daniel Jurgen. And also The Dosadi Experiment, Part 3. Any cool pictures in this one? Oh my. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Do you think these are reproduced anywhere? Like, even when they get, like, anthologized? I don't think you usually get the art with it. While I'm flipping through this 160-page not book, what really distinguishes these magazines from books? Like, it used to irritate me that these things did not appear on Goodreads. No! Yeah. A Perfect Twilight. I don't really make art like this anymore. All right. Last Galaxy is August 1977. That's a cool cover. More artwork therein. And the novelettes we have in this issue are And Earth So Far Away by H.C. Petley, The Phenomenal Fountain by Arnson Darnay, and then the short stories are Perfectly Safe, Nothing to Worry About by Charles Sheffield. It's a name we keep seeing often. The All Soul is Calling Quinlan by Jay Brandon, and The Dosadi Experiment, Part 4 of 4. So this concludes Frank Herbert's tale. And then there's some more showcases, which is just nonfiction stuff. And let's see if we got some cool artwork. Hello? Oh my. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to find out. I'll report back then. Something completely different. Probably not the best work done in this magazine, but this is very evocative. And this is part of the Frank Herbert story. So it looks like we have either praying mantis crustacean like things and some Harkonnen looking blob people. And then someone gets a spear to the chest. So yeah, those are the 4 Galaxy magazines. And then I got one more magazine, which is even less magazine-like than the others. And that is the Analog Anthology #1. 50 years of the best from astounding science fiction and analog science fiction / science fact. We got a lot of people here, so just going to run down through some of the names. Again, this is more of an anthology. It's also not part of Galaxy. There's no illustrations here, but there are a ton of stories. Like, I have a bunch of compilation books that have less stories than this. So really, again, why is this not a book? I'm glad it isn't for right now, but again, so yeah, we have Twilight by John Stewart. This is going from like 1934 to 1979. So, The Lotus Eaters by Stanley Weinbaum. Fantastic Fiction by John W. Campbell Jr. Language for Time Travelers by L. Sprague de Camp. QRM Interplanetary by George O. Smith. And He Built a Crooked House by Robert Heinlein. Far Centaurus by A.E. Van Vogt. Placid is a Crazy Place by Frederick Brown. The Chromium Helmet by Theodore Sturgeon. The Endochronic Properties of Resublimated Theatimolene by Isaac Asimov. No Copying Allowed by John W. Campbell Jr. The Dead Past by Isaac Asimov. Ceramic Incident by Theodore Thomas. The Dread Tomato Addiction by Mark Clifton. I'm excited about that, just based on the title. Transfusion by Chad Oliver. The Longest Voyage by Poul Anderson. Sleep No More by James H. Schmitz. Computers Don't Argue by Gordon Dixon. Test in Orbit by Ben Bova. Computer off. Sorry. The Prophet by Stanley Schmidt. The Asking of Questions by Poul Anderson. Of Mist and Grass and Sand by Vonda McIntyre. And Can These Bones Live by Ted Reynolds. So that's it. Just wanted to show you my not book haul, and therefore I'm still on the challenge and doing just fine. But they have a lot of analog magazines there, just in case, I feel the need to scratch an itch. It's like having non-alcoholic beer, I guess. So thank you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.